Okay, gang, is everybody there? Looks like we only have 6 people in attendance at the moment, so we'll give it another minute or so for folks to join us. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm just going to mute your microphones for now, and we'll open up for questions after the training. If you have any questions, you can hit me up on the live chat on the side, and I'll try to answer those. If not during the training, shortly afterward, cover the things that we need to get covered. Okay, so let's dive in and talk about some of the things that we need to cover. And we're going to talk about page management, creating pages and managing those pages, as well as the accordion widget and the links widget. So those are the primary things we're going to talk about today. And of course, we'll have some time at the end to answer any questions that you might have, as well as maybe cover some other things that might be needing out there. So I'm going to take a look at, I'm going to use my training website. And we'll start with pages. So page management. There are going to be times when you're working on a website and you might find that there's not a page that needs to be there. For whatever reason, the page didn't get created as we were building the website for you, or maybe it was just missed, or whatever the reason is, there's a page that needs to be added, or maybe there's a page that's out of order, or we need to move it around for whatever reason. So we manage pages on the left-hand side of the site by clicking on the little Pages button. And from here, we can see all the pages in the website, and we can even move them around if need be just by clicking and dragging them into different orders. So if a page is out of order, we can move it pretty quickly just by grabbing it and moving it to wherever it needs to be. Sometimes we'll need to create a child page, meaning that it's a page that's under a different page. So child page has nothing to do with children or parents. It's actually the hierarchy or the order of the pages. So for example, if I needed to put 2 pages under my home page, right now there's nothing under home, and I needed to put some pages under home, I can take subpage 1 and subpage 2. I'll put them at the top here just for demonstration purposes. And all I have to do is drag them to the right, and you'll see that they line up under the home page. So now they are children of the home page. And if I mouse over home, there are those 2 items. So all we do to move them around is just drag them wherever they need to be. We don't want them to be home child pages anymore. We can drag them back out and put them anywhere else we want to, and in the site. So now they're back out on the page. So that's just the order of moving pages. But to create a page, if a page is missing, you're going to click on the New Page button. And when you click on New Page, you'll see that there's options to create lots of different kinds of pages. We're going to only be creating pages of the blank page type, or the page URL type, or the folder type, and we'll cover what they all are. The blank page is the page that you're most common with or familiar with. It's the most common page. It basically is just a blank page. There's nothing on it, and so that's what you guys have already been working on, where you've got your full list of pages, you go to the new site, and there's nothing on the page. It's just a blank page. To create a blank page, you simply click blank page, give your page a name, and click Add Page. At that point, you can drag it to wherever it needs to be. If it needs to be a child of another page, you can do that, or just drag it in whatever order it needs to be in. Now, a lot of times you're going to be dealing with pages that are hidden in a menu, meaning that they're still accessible, but they're not in the top menu. Instead, they're accessed by a link, maybe in a links module, or on a page in some text somewhere. So a lot of times, we'll have pages that are hidden. To hide a page or to do anything else with a page, you can click on the little icon to the right of it, the little gear icon, and to the right will appear some options. You can rename a page by clicking on Rename. You can hide a page, and so this is how we'll hide a page that maybe it still needs to be accessible, but we can just hide it on all devices. Now it's no longer showing in the navigation at the top, but it's still accessible. We can get to it. If we need to unhide it, we can click show on all and it comes back. If you have a page that's really nice and maybe you're going to have to use that same page multiple times, you can duplicate a page, as well as we can even set passwords for pages, which you guys are not going to be doing, but we will be doing for customers if they need a page that requires a password to access it. So really the blank page, again, is just that. It's just a blank page, no big frills here, nothing to it. And you just start adding content to it like you normally would. The other kind of page is a page URL, and this is used for two purposes. One is to link out to another website. So you might have pages that link to the Department of Education or to Google or whatever, wherever that page may go to. If it links to a URL, you're going to use the page URL option. And you can also use this page URL option to link to a document. I'm going to show both types of it. First, let's just create a page that links to another website. Click on page URL option. Give your page a name. And then you have to add the URL that it's going to go to. Now, it does require you to put in a fully qualified URL, meaning that it has to have http:// in order for it to be a valid URL. And you'll see as soon as I typed that, my add page button came alive, and now I can add something to it. If you just add it with Google, don't worry about it. You can come back and we can edit the URL later on. So I'm just going to do that. Click add page. And now we have my page URL. Of course, we see it in the navigation as well. And if we go preview it and click on it, we'll see that it wants to open in a new tab. It links to Google. Nothing big and complicated or exciting there. But if we want to change it, we go back to pages, click on the little gear icon to the right of it, and we can edit that URL. So if you come across a page that is linked out and maybe it's supposed to go to a Department of Education page or somewhere else, but right now it's just sitting on Google, you can change that by going in here and just changing the URL to whatever else it needs to be going to. Click save, and now you've fixed that link. So most of you are going to find that your sites do have pages out to URLs, and they're all just going to Google. That's just because when we created the pages, we're in a rush, we need to get them out there, and we're going to circle back and add the actual correct URL at another time. If you've got time and you want to do it, go right ahead. If you don't, that's fine, and we'll come back and do this as well. So that's how we create a page URL. So we can also use that page URL to link to a document, but it is a little bit more intensive in that it requires two steps. So first, you have to create the page like we just did. And then second, you'll have to add the URL to the document that you want to link to. And we'll show you how that's done. So first, let's create a page. And I'll call this my document page. Because I don't know the URL of the document just yet, I'm just going to create it with Google. We'll come back and edit it in a second. So my document page, I'm going to move it up the list so you can see it a little bit. So my next step after creating the page is I've got to go find the document that I want that page to link to. To do that, I click on the content option on the left-hand side, and then I'll click on Manage Files. And Manage Files will show me all of the files that are in the website. If you need to search, of course, you can search for a file name, or if there's a file already there that you know you need, you can find it right here. Now, what we need to do is find the URL of the file. To do that, I want to click on the magnifying glass. I don't want to click the select button because that will add the document to the page. That's not what I want. I want to find the URL of the document. To do that, just click the magnifying glass. It will open in a new tab, and here's the path to that document. All I have to do is click on it, copy that full URL, and now go back to my page and edit the URL. So I'll go back to my page, go to my document page. I'm going to edit the URL and add that URL of the document that we just copied. And that's all there is to it. So it is a two-step process to link a page to a document. Again, you first have to create the page by adding a new page, add URL, and just add a blank page, leave it going to Google or wherever. Then you have to go to content, find your file, find the URL of that file by clicking the magnifying glass icon, and then copying that document's URL into your page URL. So that's all there is to it. So it's not super complicated, but it does require one extra step. So the other kind of page that you're going to create sometimes is really just a placeholder. And so it's called a folder page. And I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense initially, but I'll show you what it does. So let's create a new page. And we're going to select the folder type, the page type of folder. And it doesn't have any options here. It's just going to be a placeholder. So in many cases, you'll find this used for departments or athletics or something that's going to have lots of child pages. I'll create this folder page, and you'll see that it's a folder page because on the left-hand side of it, it has a little folder icon. And I forgot to mention that our URL page actually has an external URL icon. So you can quickly at a glance tell what kind of page type you're dealing with just by looking to the left of it. So my departments page doesn't really do anything. It's right there, and if we go preview it, and I click on it, it doesn't take me anywhere, it doesn't do anything. It's literally just a placeholder. And because it's a placeholder, it means we can put other pages underneath it. So if my departments page had lots of other pages under it, let's say our subpage 1 or subpage 2, maybe even a calendar or whatever else we wanted to put under our departments page, we would drag those under that page. Now we have child pages under my departments page. Again, my departments page is just a holder or just a placeholder for those. And if I mouse over departments, now I have all of these options, all of the child pages. But departments really is just a placeholder. So it's kind of like a picture of a manila folder. And you don't really care what's in the folder itself. You want to see the things that are inside of it. So there's no reason to go view a blank folder because it doesn't tell you anything. What you want are the pages inside that folder. So it doesn't do anything. It just sits there and does nothing else. Of course, you can change the name of it just like you can the other items. You can rearrange it, and of course you can delete it if need be. But it doesn't really do anything other than just act as a placeholder for its child pages. That's a pretty common type of page. So really, those are the three kinds of pages that you're going to be adding: a blank page, a page URL that links to a third-party website, or a page URL that links to a document. And then final would be the folder type that doesn't link anywhere. It just is a placeholder for the other types of documents. Now, in a different training session, we'll talk about these other items and the other page types that we can add, but that's getting a little bit more complex than we want to cover today. If you want to go ahead and experiment and play with some of these, you certainly can on your own time, and you'll see that there's lots of different things that we can create, kind of templates, if you will, for the websites. For now, that's all there is to page management. So I saw that we got a couple of questions. Hold off for just a minute, or actually just bear with me for a few minutes, and I'll circle back and we'll answer your questions toward the end. So next, let's talk about the links widget. It also actually doubles as our announcement widget. So in a lot of cases, you guys have seen pages where there's announcements, items that you can click on, and we'll go find one now. So you'll find that there's announcements, for example, this one here at green, where you can click on each one, and they got a broken link. Let's go find another one. There you go. So it actually links to another page, or in a lot of cases, it maybe is just a pop-up to another inside page that doesn't actually change the URL. It's just, it just holds other information. So let's go create links, and we'll also use the links for announcements. And it's one of the more feature-rich widgets that we have, and we can do a lot of different things with it. So I'm going to just add a little room here. Oh, that's my page. My test page was actually over here. I'll put it over here. So Let's add the widget type of links. If yours doesn't show at the top, you can type it out in the top box, and you'll see that links appears. All you have to do is click and drag it out to the page like any other widget. And the pop-up is where you'll be adding all of the content for it. Of course, the section title is just the title of this particular widget. So this is my links title. It can be whatever you want, and we can change the styling of it later to make it more bold or colors or whatever you want to do with it. Change the font, all kinds of different ways. To add the links to this module is this blank box right here below it. Right now it's blank because there is no link. To add a link, we simply click on it, and to the right will appear another pop-up option for you. This lets you add the link title. So this is my link title. And below that, you select the type of link that it's going to be. And you're going to use really only 4 types of links. You're going to be linking to existing pages, where you can click on that and it might link out to another page in the website. Or you'll link to a website URL, just like we did earlier, where you'll add http://google.com, whatever the URL is. Or you'll link to an email address. So maybe you want to just link to Robert School Desk or wherever the email address is. Or last, of course, the one that you use commonly is to a file, which you guys have already done many times over. And I'll go through all of these in a moment. But again, these are the main 4 types of links you're going to use. There's a few others listed in here that you're not going to use. For example, the pop-up option, you're not going to use that. You're not going to use anchors, and you're not going to use a store link, because none of our sites have stores yet. So just note that don't worry about those. You're going to skip right over those, the pop, the anchor, and the store link. We'll just skip over those. We're going to focus on existing pages, website URLs, the email address, and the file for download. So we'll just create one of each of them. This links to the calendar page. And if we're going to link to an inside page, we select the existing page link. I already selected calendar earlier, so there it is. And that's all there is to it. Click away and we're done. To add another link, we click on the left and say add new link, and click on it. Add a title to the top. This links to School Desk. To link to a website, again, just type in your title, select the website URL, http:// add your URL there, and you're done. You get the little green check, you know you're done. Let's go add another type. This will be a type email address. Again, just click on add new link, click on that blank link, give it a title. Email Rob. Scroll down and click on email address. Type in the email address. And you're done. And then last is, of course, a link to a file, which many of you have already been doing exhaustively. Thank you very much. We'll add new link, click on the blank one, give it a title. Give it a title and click on File for Download. You'll find your file either by typing it and searching for it, or if you see it here, just grab it and you're done. So those are the 4 primary types of links that we're going to be doing. This one links to a page in our site, so it just jumps right over to our calendar page. We can see that in our URL. It's now our calendar page. There it is. So anyhow, so these are the 4 types of URLs: a link to a page, a link to a website, a link to an email, or a link to a document. But now we can do some other things with those kinds of links. We go back in here and click on it. I'll take the first one will be links to a calendar page. While you're normally going to just stop at these top options here, whether it's a website, email, or file, we can go one more step down and we can add specific content regarding that link. So we can say more information about it. This You can add all kinds of information. And in this content box, of course, you can bold and italics and do all the normal stuff that you want to do with it, underline it, change its color, whatever it might be. And of course, you can also hyperlink in this box as well. So if it needs to take you to a document from within this, you could do that as well. So you can add more information even inside of the content that relates to the link itself. I can close this one. I'll now see that here's my information about that link. And above it is the link itself that I can click on to go to the link. So a lot of times you'll find descriptions of the links and other things about it before it actually takes you to the link. So you kind of have a way to inform the users of what they're about to click on. Again, you would just scroll down, add more information in the content field, and it just shows up there under the link describing what that link is about. Another thing we can do is we can do a pop-up, not like the pop-up that I told you don't do up here at the top, but this is more of what we call a modal pop-up, meaning that it's going to pop up on this page. It's not going to take you anywhere else. It's just going to be a little pop-up message that displays more information for the user. So to do that, you have to create a title. And every modal pop-up has to have a modal ID. And this can be any number that you want. I like to number mine sequentially, but it doesn't really matter. Or if you just want to hit a bunch of numbers randomly, that's totally fine as well. Just give it a number. And then you enter the information that's going to be in your pop-up message. You notice I mentioned the More button, which you guys probably haven't seen yet, because when you do a modal pop-up, it will add a button that says More. So a lot of times you'll have information and an option to click for More that will then pop up. I promise it does do pop-up. It will do a pop-up for you and show you the information, which mine's not doing. My demonstrations lately have been a challenge. So let me go back here, and I did give a pop-up. I gave it a number. I gave it too many numbers. I don't know. Sorry, guys. Let's see if that works for it. It does not work at the moment. However, it actually does work. If I go publish the site, actually go to the live website on that page, I do know that it does work. We may have to get our developer back on the line and find out why it's not working. So anyhow, envision, if you will, a big square in the middle that pops up that shows that information. I'm not sure why it's not working, but we'll go back in and figure that out at a later time. Let's try that one. And we have a More link at the bottom. And if we click More, it's supposed to pop up. I apologize, but I promise you this does work. And it worked on all of my demos earlier. If you go back and look at the pre-recorded training that I did last night for all of these, you'll see that the More button does work and it does pop up more information. And so it's a great way to show a lot more information for the users. Why mine's not working, I have no idea, but I will soon be contacting the developer to find out what's going on with this. So not sure what's happening. So anyhow, so that is the options in the links or even announcements widget, if you want to call it that. Primarily links, but it kind of functions to replace our former announcements module. So I'm sorry it didn't work, but hopefully you get the idea, and we'll just move on. So let's go take a look at a different type of module or widget, and that one is called the accordion. I even have a page for it already created. So the accordion widget allows you to store a lot of information in a very small amount of space. So I'll go to my accordion page, and on the left-hand side, I click on widgets, and I can type at the top, just ACC, or I can type the full word accordion, and just drag it out to the page. And by default, it's already pre-populated with a few different options in here. And we're going to replace each one of these with more information. But to see what they do is we'll go into preview mode, and just click on any of these, and you'll see that they all expand, and we can see more information inside of them. You'll see a lot of websites with accordions. For example, Frost ISD. They have a lot of accordions. Now this is on the old system, but it's still the same kind of concept where you can put a lot of information, but it doesn't take up a lot of space. So let's go in and play with this and see what we can do with the accordion widget. We'll click on it. I can change any of these by clicking on them and change the title. And inside here is the description, just like the other one where you can do all kinds of stuff with it. Of course, you can style it, bold it, italics, underline, change the colors, whatever you want with it, as well as even link it to other websites if you needed to for that purpose. So you can do lots of different things with it inside there. Let's see, I'll just close this one. We'll go back and preview it. Again, you can see my new title. If I click it, there's my information. So this is very much like the FAQ module or widget where you would have a question and you click on it and it would show you the answer. It's almost identical to the FAQs. We'll go back in and add some more information. And we'll say this is my third one, second one. And again, we can add whatever information we want here. And I can say, this is my second. You thought I did it wrong on accidentally, but no, I did it wrong on purpose so that I could show you we can also shuffle the order of them and move them around as needed. So if you create a lot of accordions and you need to move them around, you can simply click and drag them and move them to wherever they need to be. So now we've got 3 different messages in here. Again, we just click on it to see how they all look. But the reason I wanted to show you the accordion module is not just because it shows you lots of ways to put a lot of information in a small little area, but this is one of the modules that also has some pre-styled templates, if you will, for how it can look on a website. So it doesn't have to just look gray and some big ugly buttons on the side. There's some other options. And to get there, we introduced the design tab. Every widget that you click on in your website will have, in the pop-up, it'll have on the left-hand side the content. That's all the stuff you're adding to it. And on the right side, the design option, which is how it looks, which will allow you to change the colors, the fonts, the font sizes, all kinds of stuff within them. And each one is a little bit different depending on which widget you're dealing with. The accordion is one of the ones that has layout options. You'll also see this in FAQs and in all of the photo options or photo galleries and other widgets. It's also in videos, and just a whole bunch of them have lots of different template options. And what's great about that is we can click on any of them and change the styling of it so that it looks different on the website, so that it looks either more like it did on the old website, or it just looks better than the default one on the new website. It still does all the same stuff, but it just has a little bit different styling. So the design tab does have a lot of stuff to offer for you. So if you'll take a moment as you're adding new content, compare it to the old one and say, does that really look like it did on the old site? You know, maybe I need to add more information to it. If I go here, I can see now they're just nice and neat and clean and simple, and I click on them and it shows more information. So again, take the time to look at the design tab. I know you guys are moving fast, but if you're adding something and it just looks really wonky compared to the old one, click on the Design tab and see if there might be some options to help you make it look better. For example, we can change the style of the title. And I'll slide it over here so you can see it. And we'll do a different kind of font. You see the font just changed. We can change the font size and make it really big. We can change the background colors. We want to make it really bold so they can see it. Maybe even add a border. I can add a red border. So now I can make it really stand out. We can also do the description style. That's the text that's going to show up inside there. And even change icons for it. We can do a lot of different things with it. If you take a moment and just go in and play with it, you'll see that we can make things look really nice for the users so that it doesn't have to just look like it did initially, where it was some old boring blob. We can actually make it look a whole lot better for the users. So take a moment and style things by clicking on the Design tab on any widget, and you'll see that there's a lot of options that you can change there to make your content look good. So hopefully yours won't look as bad as mine does, but it's a good example of what we can do with it. So again, we've covered the links widget, the accordion widget, and page management, and that's all I want to throw at you today because I really want to spend some time answering some of your questions. So let me take a look at the chat here. Okay, well, cover not linking pages back to the school desk site. Right. So a lot of times, as you're copying content from the old websites, let me find one here. And this just came to me, so I'm going to kind of scramble and find one here. So here's a link that links to Move On Ready. This actually links to a page in this Greene County Schools website. If I click on it, I can see it's actually taking me to another page. And I don't want to just copy that URL of the link. Instead, if it links to another page, we need to, on our site, go in and link it to another page. So if we have this second accordion that actually links on our website. For example, we would not want to link back to the old website by copying and pasting the URL here. That would be terrible because what we're going to do is shut the old websites down when we move them. And so anytime you link back to a school desk URL, you're breaking that site because that website is going to go down and that URL is going to break. You do not want to ever link anything back to anything schooldesk.net. Instead, if it links to a page in that website, link it to an existing page in that website. So just be careful not to copy any URLs from the old websites. Here, this is just going to link out to my calendar page, and now I'm on my calendar page. I'm going to open this up. Anyone have any more questions? I'm going to unmute everybody and unmute all. Anybody have any questions you want to ask at the moment? Now is a good time to do so. Not all at once. Or if you want to do it more anonymously, you can type it in the chat box for sure, and that's totally fine. We're showing an example of an announcements module that has descriptions. All right, so we'll take a look at an example of an announcements module that actually goes to another page. Well, it kind of looks like it's going to another page, but it's really not. So here's a good example. At the Greene County website, this is actually all announcements, and the part I'm highlighting here. This is just a whole bunch of announcements in the old site. We would use the new links module to replace this or to rebuild this. If I look at the last one that says we are mobile, download our mobile app. If we click on it, it looks like it took us to another website. I'm sorry, to another page. Oh, that was a bad example. That actually did take us to another page. Let me find one. All right, the one right above it. No, good Lord, I just saw one. All right, this is gonna make me nuts. I know there's some in there because I just clicked on it. Goodness. Jamie, do you or anyone have a good example here? Totally cut me
Okay,
off.
it's in the chat for you.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Scrambling to find a good example for you. Okay, so these board agendas at the Lafayette website. If I click on any of these, it should take me to another page. I don't have my return, so it actually did go to another page. These are not good examples either, I don't think.
That's what I want you to show, is that when you click on an announcement module, it appears that you're going to another page, but you're not. In the school desk version, there is content in the description portion, and even though it looks like another page, you've got your return URL up at the top that shows you. It's definitely not another page. It is just the announcements module. And this would be a good example of where they would use that pop-up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, this is definitely where you would use the pop-ups. So I would copy one of these, for example, this name over here, and we'll go back to our, where was our links module?
The copying of the school desk URLs and these announcements modules is happening over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and that's bad news. So this one, I'm going to copy the name of it. If I click on it, I can see that it's taking me somewhere else. This one actually takes me to a page for board agendas for 2019. And then there are 4 different links inside of that. So you wouldn't want to just paste this URL at the top, because that's going to just be terrible and break it. Instead, we're going to grab these 4 items that it links to. We'll bring those over here to our new widget. And I'm going to remove all this stuff. And I'm going to add this one in our modal pop-up. Again, at the moment, for some reason, it's not working for me, but it will work for you. And I'll be dealing with the developer shortly to find out what's going on with that. So we'll have our modal title, which in this case is our board agendas 2019. That's the pop-up message. Again, give it a number. We'll just call it Lucky 7. And these 4 items, since we know that they all link to documents, I would then link it to each individual document. I'll just do a mock-up here. So I'll take this one, January. We'll link it to a file for download. And this one links to that. And we'll go to the next one. February would link to another document. Say that one. March would link to another. And you get the idea. And then last April would link to something different. So in this case, you would probably have a folder, or I'm sorry, you'll see a lot of different documents for board meetings. And so each one of these would link to a board meeting related to that particular date, which I can see on my example here. This was school board agenda, January 22nd, 2019. So obviously I would link January 22nd, 2019 to this specific document. But what this has done for us is it creates the option to see all of them. Hopefully they'll pop up. There it is. There's my pop-up. It did work. So maybe Mark just fixed it. So this is a good example. So now, much like the old one where I would click it and it would take me to a page that also had more information at that point for 2019. Now when I click it, I get my pop-up that, again, shows me the same things, and I can click on it to go to any of those particular documents. So a lot of times it'll look like it's going to another page. It's actually not going to another page. It's doing the equivalent of our pop-up, which is just showing more information, but it's technically on the same page. In fact, if you look at the URL at the top here, lafayette.schooldesk.net/schoolboard and board agendas. If I click on any of these, I'm still on that same URL. School board, board agendas. So I'm still technically on the exact same page. Their version of on the old system of a pop-up really kind of simulated a whole different page. Technically, this is a pop-up, or this is the equivalent of my little pop-up that I did over here. It just happens to have a little bit different look, but it's really the same thing. This is not a whole separate page. You don't need to create pages for all of these things. You would simply create a pop-up that had all of this information inside of it. Anything else, Jamie, you want to cover?
That's it.
Anybody else have anything you want to talk about? Any issues you might be having? Anything we want to address? Because if you're having a problem, there's a chance that others are having the same problem. So now is a good time to address it and help everybody out with the same issues. Anybody? All right. Well, then, if there's nothing at the moment, you can certainly hit me up in Glip with any questions, or of course in Skype. And I have had a couple of people ask me about how to get into the Skype meeting, and that is also at the campuscontact.com/migration page. And here you'll find the Skype meeting group right here at the top. So if you're not already in the Skype meeting group, then please do so by clicking on that link, and it'll take you in there to join it. So that's how we're all communicating internally with any questions or problems that you might have. So make sure that you join that Skype group with any, so you can hit us up with any questions that you want.
Rob?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you want to tell people about how to find the link to the documents in a quicker way without having to search for them?
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? How you showed me to find the links?
Sorry, I don't. Which method did I show you? What did we do?
So you go, if you go to the documents section.
The link.
No, when you're looking through the documents and you need to get the document URL.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. No, from the page. We want to find, instead of putting in the search and searching and trying to find the document this way, if you just push the drop-down menu and then it shows you the URL right there where you could just copy it, it would be from the website.
From the old website?
That's correct.
Okay, so here on school board agenda, for example. Oh, I got you.
So,
okay. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, there's a download option at the top right. So what she's talking about, some of the documents that you're going to click to or link to have this crazy, it's really kind of an encrypted URL, and it says link, click, and blah, 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 a bunch of numbers, and it's kind of scrambled, and it's really hard to find out what the name of the document is sometimes. If you can't find the name of the document, simply mouse over it, and at the right-hand corner, click on the download button. Don't worry, we're not going to actually download it, but if we click on download, it will show us what it's going to be called right here. It's going to try to name it whatever the document was originally named. In this case, this is actually called School Board Agenda-Jan 22, 2019. So now I know what it's called, I can go back over and search for it. That's what you're talking about. Now, I got you. So it is a fast way to find exactly what the document is called by clicking that download button as if you were going to download it. You don't actually have to, but you can do it right there. Now, there's been several folks telling me that the documents that they're looking for is not in the new website. Although I personally moved all the documents over, maybe I skipped a couple. I don't know, it could happen. And so if you find that a document is not in your new website like it should be, you can actually download it. You can click download, save it to your computer, and then go over to the new website and upload it. And you're doing us a favor there by having found that document, putting it back in the new system and linking to it as it should be, and that would be great. Of course, you could also just let us know. We'll go do that for you, but it would probably be much faster for you while you're there already to just go ahead and download it and re-upload it to the new website. So feel free to do so if you need to. In fact, I'll do that as an example here. This school board agenda I know is not on that test website, so I'll just save it here on my computer. If I go back to this new website and I click File, I can click Upload New File. And depending on where it is, mine's just going to be over here in my test folder. My school board agenda right there, and I can upload it. And now that file is in the computer for me to link to. So they go over and search for it. There it is, my school board agenda, and now I can link to it. So again, if it's not on your site, which most of the files should be, but if you do come across a file that's missing, feel free to download it from the old site and upload it to the new site, and then link to it as you need to. Any other questions? Oh, I've got one more. Okay, great. So if anybody else doesn't have any other questions, we're going to wrap it up here. But again, hit us up on live chat in the Skype message or in Glip, and we'll be all over it and help you out every way we can. If you come up with another shortcut or something that might help other people, please let us know, and we'll be glad to share it with everyone else so everybody can benefit from that. So otherwise, have a great day, and let us know if anything else comes up. Take care. Thank you.